Hi, I'm Christy, and I'm obsessed with eating healthy on a budget. Sorry I've missed a few uploads. I've been busy playing with chickens, working on the land, and getting ready to move. But more on that in my next video. Today, I'm here to share 3 soup recipes that I love. Actually, everyone loves. We're making chicken vegetable soup, butternut squash bisque, and 16 bean soup. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for cheap meal ideas and helpful cooking tips. Start by cooking your chicken and making chicken broth. I use a whole chicken or chicken thighs in slices of onion. Add salt, pepper, and fill with water just to the top of the chicken. If available, celery and carrots add great flavor to the broth. I cook my chicken until it is falling off the bone like this. Let it cool and pick the meat off the bones. Be sure to save every last drop of that delicious broth. I refrigerate the broth and scoop the fat off the top when I'm ready to use it. You can save this fat for other recipes or even add it to your soup if you like. Personally, I don't like the greasy feel of chicken fat, at least not in my soup. Now the hardest part is out of the way. Just peel and cut your carrots. I want to remind you that it's not a race. It's okay for you to take your time, figure out how you want to do things, and just definitely don't cut yourself. Put the carrot in a large pot, and now it's time to slice the celery. You know, sometimes you want to get creative and slice things at an angle. Do it. Express yourself. See, look how inviting that is. Put the celery in a pot and get a glob of oil. Coconut oil is my go-to. Now we're ready for some heat. Stir to coat in the oil, cover, and let cook over medium heat just until it starts to get golden. You see that goldenness? That equals tasty flavor in your soup. Now add your broth. My broth is very powerful, so I like to use 2 parts broth to 1 part water. Add your yummy chicken, frozen corn, frozen peas, and stir. Salt and pepper to taste, and that's basically it. Once it comes to a simmer and the vegetables are tender, it's done. It might not look like much, but I promise it will warm your soul, and everybody who eats it will be slurping and smiling. Now it's time for me to really wow you with my butternut squash bisque. I found the best way to handle the butternut squash is carefully. I carefully take an ordinary peeler and just go for it. Peel away the skin and all the white parts, and whoop, it's a slippery one. Carefully cut the bottom and the top and cut it in half lengthwise. I hope you drank your protein shake this morning because this squash is strong. Scrape out the innards with a spoon. Just force it and get your aggression out. Do the same to the other side and we're ready to slice. I'm taking my time to decide how the heck to cut this thing. Hi-ya! Hi-ya! And oh, careful, other way. So we're not professional chefs here, and I'm just trying to cut these into somewhat evenly sized cubes so that they will cook evenly. It doesn't really matter how you get it done as long as you're careful, so take your time. These go into the pot, and now it's time for carrots. I just peel them and slice them, again, into somewhat evenly sized chunks. Add those to the pot as well. And we're on to the onion. Clean off the peel and chop it up. Nothing fancy, this onion can be chopped very rough. In the pot it goes. And last but not least, the garlic. You already know that I press my garlic like this, and this is why. It makes it so easy to peel. I'm also cutting off this woody bottom right here. We don't want the woody bottoms in our buttery butternut bisque. Say that 3 times fast. Buttery butternut bisque, buttery butternut bisque, buttery butternut bisque, buttery butternut bisque, buttery blah, blah, blah. Chop the garlic. Rough chunks are fine, and add them to the pot. You already know it, coconut oil. Add a good glob of this. We want it to be enough to coat the veggies. Over the stove on medium-lowish heat, add salt and stir to coat in the oil. Cover and let it cook for a few minutes. Come back to check on it and give it a stir. And it's almost ready. I like to cook it just until it starts getting golden. The trick is not to burn it, but to bring out some golden color. Now I have made my stock in advance using a whole bunch of random veggie scraps, and the problem is, it turned out really dark. For this recipe, it's better to have a lighter stock with just chicken and onion. The dark stock will take away from the beautiful color of the squash. I'll be adding some water as well. In fact, I think you can skip the stock and just use water for this recipe. It still tastes great. Stir, making sure you get any delicious golden sticky stuff off the bottom of the pan, and add more salt and pepper. By the way, white peppercorns would be bomb. Add some ground cinnamon, not too much, just a little dash, and you can always add more later. Stir, cover, and let it simmer. Once the veggies are tender, let the soup cool, and then it's time to blend. You know that I'm a kitchen minimalist, so I will be using this tiny blender. There's nothing fancy about this process. Just get your soup blended and it's gonna be good. It should look something like this. Voila! That made a lot of bisque. When you're ready to serve, I recommend a drizzle of cream. You can use any mixed beans you want, but I happen to like the cheap 16 bean mix I get at the store for 99 cents. Get carrot, onion, garlic, bell pepper, potatoes, and other veggies if you like. I start by chopping the onion, and I like to make it pretty fine. No particular reason to use red onion here. I just happen to have some available. It goes into the pot. And now we're ready for carrots. We have a decision to make about how to cut these. The best part about cooking for yourself, you get to call all the shots. I'm gonna quarter these and go for a small dice, and then add them to the pot. And now we're ready for some bell pepper. I clean my bell pepper by slicing it in half and just ripping out the middle. If there are seeds hanging around, just knock them loose. Chop and add to your pot of goodies. I never realized just how much garlic I use until I started making these videos. Garlic is great for flavoring so many dishes, and it's cheap. When it comes to chopping garlic, just use the very tip of your finger to hold it, and you'll breeze right through. Add it to the pot, and prepare your potatoes. I'm going to cut off all these nasty spots. Make sure you get every crevice that could hold dirt or bacteria. Take your time and figure out how to cut these into bite-sized cubes. Add them to your pot. And you knew it was coming. Put some oil in there. On medium-low heat, add some salt and pepper, give it a stir, and let this cook until it begins to brown. Once it starts sticking to the pan like this, it's showtime. A quart of chicken stock going in. Beans. I took my dry beans, boiled them, and let them soak. They're not done yet. We just want them halfway cooked because they will soak up all the delicious soup broth and be so flavorful. Add 2 to 4 cups of water per your liking. This is optional. I just happen to have these green chilies laying around. They're going in. So you can add a variety of tomato products for this part. Sometimes I use tomato puree or diced tomatoes, but today I have an abundance of tomato paste. I do think tomato paste works best for this recipe. Time for some cumin. You guys, this is the real me. I don't measure things unless I'm baking. I'm going to add in some crushed red chili just because. Look at that. Not measuring. Who am I? I'm a maniac. Salt, pepper, taste it, and see what you think. Eventually, you get the flavor right and you stop stirring, cover, and let simmer. It's done when the beans are no longer hard. I recommend serving with a dollop of sour cream. Let me know what you think of these recipes. These soups are cheap and easy, and they always please a crowd.